Okay, great. Fox, question 172. I think because I did this I had marked these the first time. I'm remembering the question. So, I mean, we can go back and look at the question, but the key point here is what you've done is it's critical. You have um, structured this as they want. They wanted a letter, and you have been very clear and done your layout. This is good. You actually remember this. Sometimes people forget. I'm sure you know from experience that you shouldn't write your own name, but it doesn't really matter what you write here. That's fine. Water manager, a manager, and you're looking at deficiencies again. So you can see where gradually you've moved away from payroll. You're now moving into bank and cash. So these are actually on the statement of financial position. So we'll talk about bank and cash when we get there. But the key point here is that in terms of substantive procedures. But anyway, let's look at the deficiencies here, and all your deficiencies are perfect. You know, they're pretty straight, to be fair. Anything that's not sequentially numbered is an issue straight away. You know, like issues, and you talk about the consequences again. That's the key point here. Then they have this nonsense of only things over 5,000 requiring authorization. And so you suddenly have, of course, the potential for fraud, if you like, right? And well, error and fraud, like you say, very good. Because why not? There are a number of things you can buy for less than $5,000 that can be done using the company's name and just being. So we think we should bring it lower, or we think it should be reviewed regularly. There should still be a trail of everything brought under 5,000. Sort of maybe a ledger for it, possibly, so we still know what's going on. So the purchase book automatically updates. Yeah. So the key point is that here we have. I think there's no, because here there was no junction. There still needs to be some kind of check, some kind of point where we stop and just ask what happened between here, and some kind of reconciliation process. We're all into automation, but it's important to have that level of control there. I mean, reconciling every 2 months, you pick up straight away. There are errors there, delaying payments, errors there, goodwill. Well, not errors, but issue there in terms of goodwill. And you can actually review to see, um, just to make sure that this isn't happening, and trying to make use of early, if you like, because this is a recommendation. You're trying to make recommendations that, listen, guys, this is not a good idea, um, and almost prove to them why it's not, by virtue of their loss of taking up those controls, taking up the discounts. Application controls really are asking about the actual thing itself, the actual system. I mean, because we have application and we have general controls. So general controls would apply just to all IT. This is really asking us in terms of the the, the software that's managing the system, the purchase system, for example. So we're going to put through all these invoices. How are we sure that this app is making it all work, making it smooth? So the app must be able to carry out some existence checks for us, some batch totaling, approval when it hits a certain number, some range checks, that sort of thing. So again, sometimes if you notice, a lot of these things naturally have standing data. So application controls should not allow probably non-standing data. So just think of it like a system, a Sage system, for example, on payables, that won't allow you just put in some random supplier in to pay and requiring some kind of authorization. After, you can actually be manual about it. After every 20, it requires you to check the balance, um, that sort of thing. Great. And then, yeah, so you talk about all of that, and then you have substantive procedures. Now, classic, we're probably going to come across it in the next question, I don't know. But bank and cash, the rules are the same. We want to get the bank confirmation letter. We want to then get the bank statement, and we want to then look at the bank rec. So The bank confirmation letter tells us really what's kind of anything secured on the assets, any loans, if you like, any commitments, all the other bank accounts, because sometimes you well, the assumption is there's just the one bank account. No, business bank confirmation letter will show us all the banks, all the bank accounts that that business holds at that bank. And then we want to carry out the reconciliation. I mean, all a bank, the substantive test of banks is what you're saying. Just think about your bank rec. Everything you can remember that goes through a bank rec needs to be examined, because ultimately, as you can imagine, what we're saying is that you have your bank figure, right, and you have your bank figure that could be, say, 10,000, and your bank account could be 2,000. And the reason is because you have put through in your bank rec that you have an outstanding lodgement of 8,000. So it's the 10,000 that's going to be showing on your statement of financial position, not the 2 in the bank statement, because as you remember, it's a bank rec. The bank rec is the key thing here. So you must check: is it true? Do I really have 8,000 coming in? It's pretty simple. Just look post year end and check. And you could have the same for unpresented checks, blah blah blah, errors, all that. So that's the strategy to doing this. So you can see obtain the rec, agree to the bank, review, and you're always looking for. You've done that well. Unusual transactions. Of course, for window dressing, and window dressing is where you're trying to inflate the figure um, for that period. Cool, great. And then the savings accounts, the savings account deposits, review and reconcile. Yes, again, like I said, all accounts should be reviewed and checked. So if there are any differences, you want to see a reconciliation for everything. Cool, great. We'll probably come across bank rec again, but now we've done payroll, substantive test of payroll, substantive test of bank rec for banks. These are all critical. Okay.